As a lot of times Black Americans are asking the government to solve what the government created, which welfare programs obviously destroyed the Black family. And it was the intention of Lyndon Baines Johnson to do that because he was an avowed racist and spent decades in the Senate voting against every measure to give Black Americans any measure of freedom until he was basically forced with a figurative bullet to his head to sign the Civil Rights Act. To restore some calm nationally. So I think, first of all, everything begins with education. And I think that people that are nefarious understand that, which is why the 70% illiteracy rate that we're seeing across inner city communities is in my opinion by design. 40% of students now can't pass the literacy exam, excluding Black America.
When we say by design, who would want that?
People that want to control you. There's a reason why when we had slave codes, slaves weren't allowed to learn how to read. When you're not educated, anything I tell you becomes your reality.
I can understand that, but slaves worked and did stuff, right?
Yeah,
I feel
so do Americans. Every day we go to work and our money gets sent overseas.
But they have to be literate to go to work, right? I feel like illiterate Black people that are doing gang violence probably aren't serving any system very well. No?
You are, because you keep voting in the people that are taking more power from you. Right?
Do you think those people are voting much? The Black gangbangers and stuff?
I think, yes, Black people do vote, and it's not
hold on. To be very clear, I didn't say Black people, because I don't think that all Black people are like this. I'm saying that specifically the ones that are illiterate, involved in gang violence, and are unemployed. Do you think that they're out there voting in a meaningful way that's changing the political landscape of the United States? Are they having a meaningful impact on the electoral system?
Yeah, so even if people are fully illiterate, they will vote if they have an emotional reason to vote, which is what the Democrats very much understand. I want to correct my language there and say, because I think it's uniparty at this point, that they will continue to vote emotionally. So when you see something like, Black people rioting and looting in the streets because of what happened to George Floyd, what you are dealing with is people that are being intentionally misinformed about circumstances so that they are emotionally reactive. Because I have children. I have a 3-year-old. I know what it means to be ignorant. My child can't read. He is emotionally reactive. And if you can turn an entire population into an emotionally reactive toddler that has no facts or no understanding of history, you can make them do whatever it is that you want them to do. So
I guess it's interesting to me because it feels like the most mind controlled people in America are actually young white college kids. And those guys have lots of literacy and lots of education. So yeah. I don't know why we wouldn't send Black people into the colleges and turn them woke instead of...
Actually, no. But that's actually interesting. I'm glad you brought up college, because if you look factually speaking, Americans are getting dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber, and yet we have never handed out more degrees, which is interesting.
What do you mean when you say Americans are getting dumber? What do you mean by that?
What I mean, talking about in terms of passing tests, passing exams, the literacy level in America, everything is actually going down. And SAT scores, everything is going down. And which is why they're now let's just abolish the SAT, the sort of a thing that
which I think they've gotten rid of and brought back in some places. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if the same people getting illiterate are the same people that are going to college and getting degrees.
Yeah, we're handing out degrees, and yet people think they're educated when actually they're just brainwashed bots, and they're quite stupid. They are stupid, and that's the magic of a college degree, is that it makes people think that they're smart, right? And it's astonishing. You really should examine that, how every decade within America people are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. And one of the things that my colleague Matt Walsh did, which is really incredible, is he read a letter that was written by a civil rights soldier who's 17 years old or 18 years old, had no education, and it sounded like poetry. Unbelievable the way people used to be able to speak and write before we created the Department of Education, which in my view it is there just to exist to turn you into a mindless bot that will serve the government's interests.
I mean, we can say that, but the reality is aside from the cultural thing, on the economic side, America has one of the most productive workforces, maybe the most productive workforce in the world.
When you say productive workforce, what do you mean by that?
Productive in an economic sense is how many units of things are produced by 1 hour of labor from a U.S. worker. And I'm pretty sure U.S. worker productivity is higher than it ever has been. I think that continues to climb. It's one of the biggest complaints about lack of increase of wage growth, for instance, is that wage growth doesn't seem to have tracked to the massive increase of productivity of the average American worker or the median American worker. I just think that if you wanted to control, it just seems strange that we've got two completely and totally diametrically opposed ways of controlling society. One is to make Black people specifically, I guess, illiterate so that they are easier to manipulate, even though I seriously doubt these people even vote that much. And then the other is to make people the most literate by sending them to college and have them read.
They're not the most literate. That's what I'm telling you. They are not the most literate.
You think people that graduate with college degrees can't read well?
Yeah, what I'm telling you is yes. That's what I'm telling you. They're not the most literate.
What would I look up to verify that if I wanted to see like...
You got to do the research in your own time.
I have done the research.
Like, I'm happy
to...
That's just not true. What do you mean it's not true?
Just what I said. As an owner of a college degree, median wage comparing to that person is
just because you own you can go to college for 4 years and spend $100,000 getting a degree in gender studies. Please do not tell me that you believe that person is educated or highly literate.
More than half of degrees awarded are awarded for STEM-related things, number one. Number two, $100,000 is way over the average we're paying for any degree.
Well, that's what I paid. So I'm just...
What did you go to school for?
The average annual... As far as I'm concerned, you can look this up, but if you are going to school, you're probably spending in America about $30,000 a year, minimally, if you're out of state.
Isn't the average amount of...
Just look it up. You got Google, right? What state are we in?
Isn't the
What state are we in? Miami? Let's go to look up University of Florida. Pardon. What state are we in? Florida?
Yeah.
Go to University of Florida out of tuition rates. Because what do you mean? $100,000 sounds about right.
Yeah, but we're looking at... So one, this is for...
$28,659 out of state.
Correct.
$30,000.
Yep. So one, this is the out-of-state tuition.
Yes, that's what I just said.
Number two, hold on. This is the sticker price. Nobody pays this for school. You've got Pell Grants. You've got different types of student aids. You've got tons of different scholarship initiatives. Very, 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 very few people actually pay.
I'm right, but you're trying to make me wrong.
Well, so I paid that price. No, what I'm saying is that...
I paid back my loan, so you're not going to convince me that very few people are paying this. My sisters paid that price, and they paid back the... So you're just saying, like... And yes, granted, my school was more expensive. It was, I think, $35,000. There you go. The average, $29,000.
So if we look at the
you can just say
average,
you were right, Candace.
So 51%.
And you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah, so 51% of bachelor's degrees students graduate with an average of $29,400 in student loan debt. Right? So that's only 51% of people, I guess, that acquired debt, and then their average debt is about $29,400.
Are you? I don't get what the point is of you doing this.
The point
are you trying to say...
The point I'm saying is that, one, the sticker price for an out-of-state tuition school is not what I would use as the median price you need to pay for a four-year degree. Number one. Number two, very few people actually pay...
We didn't talk about that because I said this is the median price. I said it is utterly absurd that people are spending $100,000 to come out with a degree. We weren't talking about... We weren't debating the median price.
Sure, but number one, you're going for out-of-state. If I'm in-state, my tuition is $6,400.
I literally said out-of-state. I actually said out-of-state.
Yeah, but why do I care about that number?
I don't get where you're going. The point of when we started this conversation, I was just saying that there are individuals that are going to school that are spending $100,000, right?
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
In gender studies.
Yeah, but we're talking about, I'm sure, and I could probably find people with $1 million student loan debt that got an even dumber degree than gender studies and basketball or whatever. But in general, that's not the cost of a college degree. And in general, college degrees confer huge wage premiums onto the people that earn them. These are
No, they don't. And that is the reason why you have so many young women that are, and this is why, I think that what you actually do here is harmful. And I'm going to tell you...
Okay,
let me explain.
Hold on, I'm sorry, because I've done a lot of research on college degrees, and a lot of research on education, and every single thing that you're saying sounds really good on like a culture war perspective. But when you look at an actual economic perspective, when you look at actual firms that hire people, and when you look at the actual median wages compared to people that even have some college education, all of it
is me going to school.
All of it, that's great for you, but for the average American, that's just not true. None of these numbers are found on average. You will never find data that supports the idea that high school earners on average are out-earning college degree earners, or that 90% of people are going to school for basket weaving.
Do not listen.
Why would you go to trade school?
Learn a real craft.
Why would you go to trade school?
Please go to trade school. Please do not end up. And I talk about this on stage the whole time. And I'm on the universities. I did 2 universities this year. Please, if you do not know what you want to do not go spend a ton of money putting yourself in debt to go into society already having debts that you need to pay off to make $25,000 a year in a career path that you didn't even know that you wanted to take.
Why would a 4-year degree earner make $25,000 a year?
Destiny. And by the way, I am. Thank you for saying she's right, Destiny. I am so right. Please go to trade school and don't listen to this and listen to me because I bought into this rhetoric because I was in high school and it's gonna be great. You're gonna go and you're gonna take a blah blah blah, and then when you get out in the real world, it's gonna be great. You're gonna have better positions. You're gonna make more money. It is a lie.
What did you go to school for?
That I don't care what website he is looking on, to tell you that is a lie. The overwhelming majority of people, and I'm so glad people in the chat are saying that I am right, because the overwhelming amount of people are shocked when the real world then smacks them in the face, and that lie, that dream that was sold to you by your guidance counselors in high school, that it's going to be so great and you're going to be able to make more money, and you just start to realize that it is absolutely crap. And I really would like to say, do not disrespect people that go to trade school, because I just
I'm not disrespecting anybody that goes to trade school. What are you talking about?
It's just like
why are we virtue signaling on this? You shouldn't go to trade school because if you go to college, you make more money.
That's not true. It's just not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
That's not true. You can quite literally, you can be the person that goes to trade school and you will make so much money doing jobs that actually bring value to society.
Computer programmers don't bring value to the society. Mechanical engineers don't bring value to society.
If you want to be a mechanical engineer, yes, if you know what you want to do and you know you want to be a chemical engineer, I'm not saying nobody should go to college. I'm saying too many people are going to college. They are putting themselves in debt for things that they don't even know what they want to do, and they get out into the world and they can't make any money, and it is a struggle, and they are suffering. I'm watching these girls. I know that people on the right like to mock these girls who are crying on TikTok, who are saying like, I got out of college and here's how no money that I can make. I didn't know this. I actually feel bad for those girls because we have to just stop lying to people about what college is. It's been inflated.
When you look at like black community stuff, isn't in the black community, isn't one of the reasons why women are starting to out-earn black men is because they're going to school and they're going to college and they're actually getting degrees and they're getting real careers? Isn't that one of the biggest contributing factors?
I don't know that.
Okay. Okay. Final question.
I think, by the way, women, by the way, all across the board are graduating at higher rates than men. Mm-hmm. But I do want to say, because I do want to make a point about what you do. Because I did see that you did a video and you were like taking the side of hoes. Like you saw this Candace.
Did she say selfish bitch? I must have misheard.
It's a selfish should mention not marrying her. That's not.
Holy. Oh, I'm gonna get triggered. I feel like I might lose my mind this episode. I agree that these people can be cringe sometimes, but you're saying she's a narcissistic that men shouldn't marry? You're taking that so far.
It's a partnership. It's a bond. It's forever. But there's no difference between dating and marriage.
There is a difference. You just ignored it because you've got a dialogue tree and a narrative you want to push, and you're not going to engage with anything she's saying. She gave you a perfectly legitimate answer. It is a more permanent form of relationship. It's solidified by law. It's not something you just walk away from or break up from. It's a commitment, ideally for lifetime. She gave you a good answer. You just don't like to hear it because it was a good one, and you wouldn't expect a random OnlyFans girl to give you one. And now you're surprised that a bunch of girls that you thought were just going to be titty bimbos are actually giving you a run for your money.
You're still talking.
Okay.
Some insecurity coming out of it. The women today are very low value.
I'm not bashing. Hold on. I'm not bashing. The women are low value, that they're going to have worse relationships and lives, and they're going to be unhappy. But I'm not bashing them.
Absolutely fascinating to see how someone's mind can be so warped. In the same way that I think it's fascinating.
It's fat, bro.
I've been respectful in listening to, your lifestyle.
No, you're not respectful. I'm actually
sitting down with hoes on the whatever podcast, and you
were being so rude to that lady that made the TikTok. Oh my god.
Okay. But the point is that you then went through
You called her a bitch.
You then went through this video and just tried to justify these lifestyles, right?
I don't think I was trying to justify the lifestyle. What I was doing was I was fighting it back against the insane judgment from one side to the other. We live in America. People should be able to live the lifestyles they want. As long as they're not harming other people, I think everybody has the right to pursue that.
And I just want to say to people that are watching this, to anybody that you follow, literally, you should take a measure and really ask yourself whether or not that person is telling you that stuff because they believe it, or whether or not that person is telling you something that ultimately it feels good because then it means that you can remove yourself from responsibility. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's fine. I can be a hoe, whatever, but is going to lead you to misery, right? And so I tell people, I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. I've lived through a lot. Very proud of myself where I've ended up. And I'm trying to provide people the shortcuts. And I'm trying to tell you that, yes, I understand that as a young woman, if you jump onto OnlyFans, you can make money. And you can make money very quickly. But I am also telling you that if you do that, the overwhelming majority of people, can you find an exception? Sure, will regret that sort of a lifestyle.
I think I'd probably agree with you.
To these young people that are listening to you doing the YOLO, if it makes you happy, don't. I am telling you, throw this out. It is trash.
I agree. You shouldn't do OnlyFans as a young person. You should not be
aspiring to
you shouldn't do OnlyFans as a young person.
Relationships.
You should go to college and get a degree instead.
Somebody that's just holding up a mirror to tell you that you're great and you're doing amazing. You don't need that. You're not great. You can do better, right? Your life is worth more. There are rules that work. College is every single person that I went to school with is not using the degrees that they paid for.
What did you go to college for?
Journalism.
Isn't that what you're doing right now?
What do you mean?
Journalism stuff?
You probably don't know my backstory. So because my family was poor, I had to take out loans to go to school. My mom didn't even graduate high school. So
wait, why? If your family's poor, why would you have to take out loans to go to school?
What? I just told you.
If your family's poor, why would you have to take out loans to go to school?
Why would I have to take out loans to go to? What do you mean? I have to take out loans my family can't afford to pay to put me through school.
Hold on. Was your family actually poor, or did you just lie?
What are you talking about?
If you go to school and your family has a low gross income, you fill out the FAFSA. And the FAFSA is going to award you a ton of federal aid, assuming that you don't actually have the gross income from your parents to actually go to school. So if your parents are super poor, I don't know why you had to pay full out-of-state tuition to go to a university.
I did. Do you think? What do you mean? Did I lie?
I don't know how, if your parents are poor, if they have a low gross income, how do you not qualify for the FAFSA?
Okay, well, all I can say to you is that I had to pay $35 almost. My school cost more, and by the end of it, and I'm also including because then I defaulted on my student loans and I had to pay it back. So now I had to pay back the bank for not being able to pay them on time.
So something doesn't match up here.
Okay, well, I'm telling you the truth, so I don't know what to say.
Did you fill out a FAFSA?
Yeah, well, I also didn't have parents that could help me fill it out. I was a first-generation college student. My dad...
you didn't have the same school counselor you told these people to ignore? You didn't talk to one of them and said, hey, can you help me fill out?
Like, if you're trying to shame me for not doing things right...
I'm not trying to shame you. I'm just saying the background doesn't make any sense. I'm not shaming anything.
I'm just like, I don't get your point here. Like, I'm telling you the truth. I have no reason to lie about this.
My point is, you complained about having $100,000 in debt. You told these people not to talk to counselors. And you said that your family was poor, so you went to school for journalism on an out-of-state tuition. You didn't fill out a FAFSA for any student aid. There's a ton of money there.
I'm just saying, like, what is your point in saying, am I lying about it? Like,
because I don't understand how you came from a poor family and didn't fill out a FAFSA and get a ton of student aid.
I did fill out FAFSA.
And they didn't give you anything?
I maybe got, in terms of I remember getting a Pell Grant that was like $8,000.
Okay.
Per year? I'm telling the truth. So I just want to be clear. I'm telling the truth about my life. Like, I don't know what to say to you. And I don't get what was your question of saying, like, why did you take out a loan if you were poor? I don't understand that question. Like, I don't get it.
Because the implication is that if you filled out a FAFSA, your parents' gross income is used to heavily determine the amount of student aid that you qualify for. And if you're coming from an incredibly poor family, you usually get a ton of student aid.
Well, that's not what happened. Maybe that's circumstance. And please, guys, jump in the chat. Like, if somebody said, Destiny, that's stupid. I don't think they just give you free college if you're poor. That's not my experience. Did you go to university? Did you get free money?
I did, and I got some free money, but I had to get married for it because my parents had a high gross income but a lot of debt, so I didn't qualify for the FAFSA. So I had to get married at 19.
I paid back my student loans all by myself. So I could tell you that I spent over 6 figures paying back my student loans to attend the University of Rhode Island. And that is the truth. I mean, and no, I am not lying. My family does not have any money.
Okay.
My parents don't own anything. We don't even have a house. Like, we don't even own, obviously, I don't mean like we're homeless. I meant like, as in like my family didn't even own property. So it's like, no, I'm not lying about that. So I don't know what rabbit we were chasing there.
Isn't the issue here then, why would you go... Also, I understand if you have to leave at any time, because he said you had a hard out at 3 and we're at 3:06. So yeah. I don't understand why you would go to an out-of-state school for a journalism degree and then turn around and blame colleges for being bad when it feels like...
I'm not blaming colleges for being bad. I am telling people the truth so that they can avoid making some of the mistakes.
Which is, don't go to an out-of-state school for a degree that might not confer a high amount of money?
I probably should have. Yes, I'm sorry that I was 17 years old and I didn't have parents that were able to provide the economic advising. Of course, that would have been smarter. And my sister, 2 of my sisters went in state, but they still had really heavy loans. So I don't know about this FAFSA magic thing that you think happens. Then my sister paid about $20,000 a year when she went in state. So I just don't know what you're talking about at all with that, because all of my sisters, we all had to pay loans. My older sister just finished off paying her loan. So I don't know. I just don't know what you're talking about, the FAFSA magic button. Maybe if I missed the FAFSA magic button and they were going to pay for everything, then maybe I am just really stupid and I had no idea that they would just pay for everything.
I'll be honest, maybe it's like a difference in like areas or people that we talk to, maybe because the high school I went to was like very oriented and trying to get you to college. But when I was going to college, like I think FAFSA stuff was like the most important thing, like student aid.
But I did fill it out. I don't know if it's because my family had multiple children and we were all going to, I don't know what the circumstance is, but I'm just telling you the truth is that I paid for my college. And I do try to tell people that if you don't know what you want to do, spending tens of thousands of dollars trying to figure that out is probably not the right move. Like you can always go to college, you can go later, try to figure out what you're good at, get an internship. I hire people that are right out of high school because I don't just believe this. Like, there was a young woman that now works for me who was like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. I kind of just want to be a mom. I was like, do not spend. And her out of tuition rate was $50,000 for a Tennessee school.
Okay.
And so I hired her. I mean, I'm not telling people, like I said, I tell people how I actually live and what I actually believe. And I don't know that you do that. Don't justify women acting like whores.
Well, I don't justify trying to prescribe lifestyles to people.
What?
Don't justify trying to prescribe lifestyles to people.
It's not prescribing a lifestyle.
Of course
it's just,
it is. When somebody
but
said that they would be happy not having kids, you were like, oh, she sounds like a conceited bitch or
that's
something.
not what she said.
That was a
that's
bit,
not
yeah,
what
that
she
was the
said.
TikTok clip you were responding to.
That was not what she said, and I can tell you exactly what she said.
That she was got to go on
I said there was
vacations
absolutely no reason to make a comment that suggests that she was actually being insulting to people that had kids. It wasn't just one video. She makes multiple videos about how great life is if you don't have kids. If I was making videos with my kids saying about how great life is if you just, stop being a loser and get married, people would come after you because people hate the traditional lifestyle on display.
Wait, but that's literally what you guys say. Get married, have kids. That's the only way to go. Otherwise, you're a loser.
No, we do not. You're just making up words that have never
then maybe
come
that's
out
not
of
the
my
case.
mouth.
So wait, so if somebody said, if there was a young woman and she was like, I'm 20, I think I'm going to go to a career and be a whatever. I don't think I want to have a family. I don't think life's for me. You would say, okay, well, that's fine. You should make that choice.
No, I would say that's completely normal at 20 years old. That's
wait. So then they should change their opinion later on. What if she was 25 or 30? She's like, no, I don't think I want to have kids. Would you be okay? That's fine.
If she was a 20-year-old person and she was saying that I don't think that I want to have kids, then what I would say is that's pretty typical because you're 20 years old and you haven't yet had the biology thing happen to you. Which, like when they say that your biological clock starts ticking, it's very real. When you get into your mid-20s, you have a totally different feeling.
So if
like
a woman
it's
is 25 or 30 and says, I don't think I want to have kids, I think I like my career, I'm going to stick with it, you'd say, okay, that's fine. It's your choice.
Yeah, as long as that person isn't trying to, and by the way, I think that person would probably be, it would be unusual. Like it wouldn't be, the majority of women I think do want to have families and want to aspire to family, and that's fine. But when you try to create a brand of it and you say things like, oh, well, if you have kids, then you can't just smoke pot and stay in bed and be naked all day. This is actually something that like Seth Rogen just said.
Okay.
What you're doing
Sounds
there is
awesome.
you're actually trying to, you're 30, how old are you? You're 35 years old.
Yep.
Okay, so what is that? What do I do? Like if you were 20 and you were saying
I'm a millionaire,
this stuff,
I travel the world, I get to research and talk about whatever I want, I get to talk to cool people like you and other people, I live in Miami in a high rise for $5,000 a month. I mean, I think my life is pretty okay. I mean, what do you...
But I'm saying, like, what are you doing when you're trying to sell to people that, being a hoe is cool, smoking pot, saying
I don't necessarily think that being a hoe is cool.
Are you going to age out of that?
Because
you're a 35-year-old man, right? And you're kind of doing the like, I'm a college dorm kid and I'm trying to make everything sound cool. But I just want to point out the fact that you're a 35-year-old man and your words should matter and they should have weight. Like I said, if you were 20, I'd be like, I get it. When you're 35. Say things with conviction. Say things that have meaning.
Plenty of things with conviction, yes.
And
like when I asked you, what would you recommend to a woman at 25 and 30? I didn't just start rambling about what a 20-year-old should do and how biologically blah, 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 blah. I would say exactly what I would tell a woman at 25 or 30.
Yeah, I know, but your behavior, and I will appreciate that people that are younger won't understand what I'm saying until you hit 35, which is, I'm going to be 35 this year.
Okay.
You're acting like you're a college dorm kid.
Yeah, and your catty insults towards people online make you seem like a high school mean girl.
Okay.
I mean, like, what do you mean? Like, we all have our things.
But you're selling to them things that aren't good. So
what do you think I'm selling to them?
If you were a 25-year-old,
good?
like when I'm on the whatever podcast and I'm surrounded by women that are in their 20s and they're saying like, the whole life is good. The reason why I said to that girl that I'm going to pray for you is because I know that she's going to have a different perspective when she's older. So I'm not upset by that. I don't feel like that needs to be attacked when those young girls are around me and we're talking about all of these topics. When I'm sitting with a 35-year-old man, okay, and
what do you think I'm selling people?
And you know better, okay?
Wait, what do you think I'm selling people?
Well,
do you think I'm telling people to be a hoe?
What I said when you were defending the lifestyle of being a hoe, why are you doing that?
I don't think I defend the lifestyle of being a hoe.
You did. You did a whole video basically saying that none of my points of me trying to tell these women that they essentially, you can do something better. You don't have to sell your body. This was your like snazzy video comeback to it. Why are you making a comeback? Yes, you can make a video and be like, why can't someone do heroin? But why would you as a 35-year-old man want to sell something to someone or make it seem okay or cool or relevant when you know it's harmful to them? I don't get that because of your age.
So I don't understand. I don't know what your takeaway from the video was, or if there are researchers that give you like talking points to my videos. But generally what I talk about is when it comes to lifestyle, you have to analyze both sides of things. If you grow up incredibly religiously conservative and you are like shamed out of sex and you don't have sex with anybody your whole life because you're super hyper cognizant of your virginity and all of these like weird things, and that's like coming from an unhealthy external place, to say, oh, well, maybe that's worth exploring. On the flip side, if you grow up like hyper liberal and you fuck like 20 guys by the time you're 20 years old and you just want to bang everybody and you've got like weird associations with men and everything, I'd say, hey, you should probably slow down. It's probably not healthy. I just encourage people to like explore honestly, to have like conversations with themselves, with their parents, could be with priests, could be with therapists, could be whatever, and to kind of figure out like what works for them and don't get pushed into one direction from a culture side. It could be the left encouraging people to be way too promiscuous, or it could be the right for people that are shaming people for being promiscuous promiscuous and saying that, well, this one lifestyle of family stuff is going to biologically be suited towards you as you get older. I think both of these are equally stupid because it just pushes people in the other direction.
So you don't believe in anything, is what you're saying.
Is that what you got from that?
Well, you're not committing to anything.
I believe in actually thinking for yourself. That's what I think. I think that every human being roughly exists in this like paradigm where if you fuck 100 people by the time you're 20, probably not healthy. If you've never had sex before and you're 30, probably not healthy. And that you should probably like try to gravitate towards what are like human norms and then what are things that make you happy depending on your culture, depending on your geography. And then you kind of like explore in there. And don't be shamed out of exploring from one side to the other. Don't be pushed into something because somebody like Candace Owens or somebody like Stephen Bunnell tells you that you have to do a particular thing, but just like kind of explore.
I don't tell people
things.
that they have to do a particular thing, but if I see somebody that's
do.
doing heroin, I'm not going to be like, it is whatever, and it's just like whatever. You just
do you think that heroin is comparable to recreational sex?
I am. Quite frankly, I actually think a woman, as the one that I sat across from when you were critiquing this video, who says that she slept with up to 20 men per night. Yeah, it's just as bad. And I know that has to be hurting her soul. So I look at her as a human being.
Hurting her soul? What if she just has a different lifestyle than you?
Doesn't.
Completely.
She does. No, what do you mean? She's telling you, she was very honest actually. And that's why I appreciate her, because she was very honest that for her, it is just about money. Okay. But when I see that individual, when a young woman is saying that she'll sleep and see up to 10 to 20 clients per night, that's a broken individual. And it's just as when you see somebody who says that, they're doing heroin or doing this, they don't need the cool guy at the party to be like, yeah, man, it's whatever. Like, it's like, no, you actually like structure. You need somebody to say to you, you don't have to do this. There's so much better potential within you. You are young. You have your entire life ahead of you. Let's figure out what it is that you're great at. I understand the economic concerns. It's a really tough economy and it's easy money, but there's other things that you can do to make money that will give you better self-value. And so that's why I say that I think that what you're doing as a 35-year-old man is you're lying. You're just lying to people.
Do you think I'm telling women on average that fucking 20 guys
when
a night
you
is a
make
good idea?
videos and you're replying to conservatives who are rightfully saying that this lifestyle is not good, which should be abundantly clear to every single person? Yeah, what you're trying to do is lie in a clever way. And ultimately, like I said, if you were 20, I'd be fine with it.
But when first of all, I don't know why if I was 20, why that would make you fine with it.
Because
you'd have the same influence in your audience regardless.
Because your brain's not developed when you're 20.
Number two, so what? Your brain's always developing as you grow.
No, your brain develops when you're 25, 26 years old. And so when you see a 20-year-old and they have a bunch of positions, I don't hold them to it. I don't think that's with brain development.
I think that's with life experience. I think as you grow
older,
but
like literally factually, I don't know if you want to Google this, but your brain develops when you're 25, 26.
If you really want to Google it factually, the 25 number came from one study that was done like 30 years ago where they only measured brain development up to 25. And the reality is the plasticity of your brain and every other structure of your brain continues to grow into your 30s. That's technically where that number comes from. It's not true. You can look it up later if you want. The 25, 26 thing is a misnomer. It's not actually true.
Well, like I said, if you were 20, sure. I would accept, but there is such a thing as objective truth, and people that shirk and pretend that there's not, and like
objective
everybody can just do whatever they want.
Live your life?
It's about things that are harmful to people. Like objectively speaking.
So I'm curious. Wait, what is the upper bounds on recreational sex that you think is harmful or not harmful?
When you're selling your body and sleeping with old.
I'm not asking that. I'm just saying, what is the upper bounds on recreational sex that you think is like healthy for a human being? Well, if you go past this, you're like clearly over the line.
I'm not gonna say to a person, this is a number that you should sleep with, and this makes you bad.
Don't accuse me of believing in nothing. I'm not speaking out of position where you only attack the most extreme people.
I'm specifically talking about the whatever podcast.
I'm going to attack the same people that you do. If some woman is on saying like, oh, you can fuck 20 guys a night and do OnlyFans you're 18, I'm going to say, in general, that's a pretty wacky, that's a pretty out there position. I argue with tons of people over this. I don't encourage people to start OnlyFans.
What are you trying to do? What purpose are you trying to fulfill? When you, as a 35-year-old man, see me sitting down with these young women trying to say, you don't need to do this, you don't have to do this for money, and you like attack it and try to be like, Candace is just a bitch, or like whatever, like she's blah, 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 she's just being a high school mean girl. It's like, no, I am trying to tell these women that they are worth more. And when I said to that girl at the end of it, which I don't believe you showed, that I will pray for you and that you can do much more than this, that came from the heart, actually.
No, that is the most condescending thing a religious person could say to a non-religious person. I will pray for you.
Okay, you can deal with your, I know that you went to a Jesuit school and you've got some issues with somebody.
Why do you think I have issues?
But I meant that because
I loved my high school. I think it's fine.
Because for me to say, like, I meant what I said to her, that I would pray for her. Like when she was describing
why
how
do you
she
need
was
to
very
tell her
upfront,
that you'll pray for her?
Because I did pray for her.
Then do it privately. Why do you need to tell her that. You're only telling her that because you think you've got such a condescension about you. You've got such an air of superiority that you're going to pray for
air
her
of
to your
superiority
God.
because
Yeah,
I
of
said I
course.
would. God forbid someone says they'll pray. That's obviously an air of superiority because they're saying they're going to include you in their prayers.
Well, I mean, like, when you
literally
say
something
God
that my
forbid,
husband
but like
texted me,
quite literally, God forbid.
literally
Isn't there a
something-
whole story of a lady going to a temple and quietly putting like 2 percents or whatever the fuck in the
weird
tray?
anti-Christian rhetoric. I don't
What is anti-Christian about this?
If you say I'll pray for you, it's obviously you trying to be better. It's like, no, why are you even reacting to that? I'll pray for you. I'll pray for everybody that listens and watches this show. When people say that they're going to pray for you, they actually mean it, you guys. They just mean it. There's no double entendre thing going on there. And anybody that can go back and watch that clip, you will see that I was not speaking above her. I actually genuinely responded to that girl because she was so honest and she was so forthcoming. I thought I actually wanted to do more stuff with her, and we tried to reach out with her because she wasn't trying to lie or trying to pretend like her lifestyle was for health. She was clear that it was for money, and she was like, I'm not going to lie, this is why I do this. And I genuinely prayed for her. Actually, we were not enemies that were sitting across the table. So no, it was not condescending when I said I pray for you. It was a fact. When I left, I said, I will keep you in my prayers because I have in my heart, I want to see that girl in 10 years and know that she left that field and she is able to speak to women that are still within it and think that they have to sell their bodies for money and sleep with 10 men per night. I am going to continue to pray for that young woman because we need people who transform their lives to then show people that they can transform their lives. And it's not condescending to pray for anybody ever. So
okay, I will pray for you too then. Okay.
You should.
Okay.
I hope you pray for me. I want you to include me in your prayers. I want every person watching this to include. But I feel like our society has gotten so like anti-Christian. Like, oh my God, they're trying to be something. It's like, no, like I'll pray for you. I will literally pray for every single person that I think needs a prayer. And I felt like she needed a prayer. Like she could be there, you know?
Okay.
And you should watch it. Her and I had there was no beef between her and I.
Well, you're telling me I did watch it and I responded to it. So I remember watching and responding to you. It was going over the TikTok clip. I don't remember.
Praying
much
is cool,
of the,
you guys. Just so you know, it's super dope to pray.
Yeah. Telling other people you pray.
I'll pray for you.
A little bit cringe.
Look at that. But it's not cringe. There's nothing cringe about being a Christian. It's actually
Never said there was anything cringe about being a Christian. Never said that at all.
The dopest thing you can do is pray in public. You know, talk about your faith and your Christianity. There's nothing cringe about being a Christian. There's nothing cringe about praying for others. There's nothing cringe about getting on your knees and praying to God when things are wrong in your life.
Yes.
And so that culture needs to come back.
Yeah,
and
I think that's totally
everything
fine.
that's going wrong in this society is by people being like told that praying. No, there's nothing condescending about it. It's dope. It's cool.
I don't know about that,
This is the new. This is the new wave.
Well, listen. I disagree with everything you say. I think you're harmful to America. You think I'm harmful. That's fine.
No,
I do appreciate
didn't
you
say you're
talking
harmful
to
to America. I just said that it is harmful when you do things like that. You know, when you know something's wrong and you still try to like find a way out. And I just think that we can all acknowledge that selling your body is not a good thing. And we shouldn't encourage